Appreciate y'all watching my videos. What's going on? Trying to get my phone. Trying to get my phone right. What's going on? Make sure my live working. What's going on? I'm doing this live real quick. I don't know why I always saying real quick and they never be quick. But I want to make sure my live working. Make sure people. I'm gonna be talking to myself. But yeah, like the title of the video says, investing for cash flow. Okay. Yeah, what's going on? So, like my last video, I talked about the power of compounding. So, in this video, I'm talking about cash flow. So, okay. So, what's cash flow, right? You know, my whole thing is I have this mission to prove that day trading doesn't work. I know a lot of people out here be doing day trading, but over the years I've been investing, playing around with the stock market, trying to find my way, right? Trying to figure out what kind of game in the stock market I need to be playing. And so I learned that day trading is not for me. And it makes sense to me to buy and hold, okay? And so I know a lot of people on social media. It's a bunch of people out there that do the day trading, right? But I'm just gonna tell you, buying hold investing is better. That's that's my opinion. If you watching my videos, you probably agreeing with my opinion. If you disagree with my opinion, you probably shouldn't be watching my videos, because I'm not gonna condone day trading. So when we talk about cash flow and buy and hold, that type of investing strategy goes hand in hand. Okay, so compounding interest, compounding a stock, compounding cash flow, compounding revenues, compounding dividends, it all comes together. So why is cash flow important? Because if you don't have cash flow, you don't have a business. you don't have a business. And so the easiest way I can explain a cash flow is simply like, when you start a business, after all expenses and everything is left over, you have cash left over, and you want a continuous amount of cash to be left over after every cycle. In a business, you have leftover money after every cycle. So what's a cycle? So for example, in trucking, we pick up a load, Well, in trucking, you call up a customer, you get a contract for a load, you process that contract, you receive it, you read it, and all that time it takes to process the contract, answer the phone, get the directions to pick the load up, and once you drive the load, put fuel in your truck, maintenance your truck, run the load, and deliver the load, submit the paperwork, and then when that money finally gets into your checking account, and when you pay your fuel expenses, overhead, all that stuff, once all the expenses are paid, what do you got left over? That's cash flow. That is a cycle. You do that over and over and over again. That is cash flow. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up, because a lot of guys forget this key concept when we're talking about business and investing. If you don't have cash flow, you shouldn't be investing. You shouldn't be investing in it. The whole reason you buy a truck is to get cash flow, to be profitable. That's the whole reason to do it. And so why is this important? It's because you want to compound those cash flows. And so depending on the type of business you're looking at, some businesses take longer in that cycle to get your money back. And some businesses have a fast cycle. Some businesses have a lot of bureaucracy. Some businesses have a lot of overhead and processing before they see their dollar come back magnified. That, every dollar that goes in every dollar that comes in, you want it magnified. So you want $1 to go in and you want it to turn into $10. You don't want $1 to go in and get back 20 cents. That's not an investment. And so the reason why I say that and I bring that up is a lot of reasons, but with day trading, it's difficult to see earnings and profit, and so when we talk about cash flow, you want something to pay you money without working. You don't want to have to work for your money all the time. In day trading, you're busy in the day-to-day trying to chase the ups and downs of the market. And so with buy and hold, you don't do that. You just try to find fundamentally strong businesses with high cash flow and keep them forever. That's it. That's it. You don't ever sell it. You don't never sell it. So McDonald's, you buy McDonald's, you keep it, and it pays you cash flow. It's paying you a dividend. The longer you keep it, that stock, it compounds, the dividends compound, and the dollar's magnified, and then you put in $1, and then it turns into $100,000. But every time you sell the thing, you never get a chance to compound that, because like I said in my past video, the two most important pieces of the equation is time and growth rate. You need growth rate and time. And so, like I just said, there's some businesses that have a fast turnaround on their money. So there are businesses like, trying to think of Visa. I love Visa. It's a clean business. It's a very clean, simple business. They charge transaction fees on credit cards. It's a very simple, clean business. You can almost look at Visa or Master Express or MasterCard Master Express. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to think. Visa, MasterCard, American Express. You can think of a credit card as it's like a toll booth. Okay? It's almost like a toll booth. You know, like if your state builds a highway, right? And you got to pay the toll to drive on the road. And so every time you drive down the road, they get a piece of what you buy. And the same thing is the same concept. So you have a Visa card and you go to the store and swipe your card. They're not a bank. They just charge you a fee to move money. That's it. They just charge a fee to move money. And so it's the same concept. And so it's a very clean, simple business. And so if you think about that, it's not a lot of overhead but if you think about a business like a trucking company where you got to buy trucks, it's a lot of capital. You got to buy trucks, trailers, tires, employees to drive the trucks. You got to buy fuel and maintenance and insurance. It's just a big, heavy burden on the business. And so it's very capital intensive. It's not saying that it's bad, but when you talk about cash flow, it's very heavy. And so when you compare these types of businesses, you can look at how fast the money turns around. Okay? And so that's a very important concept when we're talking about cash flow. And so if you investing in a company, you want your money to turn over fast. And so what we're talking about is the growth rate. You want the growth rate to be high, and you want to invest it and hold on to it as long as possible. And if you get those two pieces, you would get a lot of cash flow. And if you hold that stock for a long time, it'll start paying you out a lot of dividends, and them dividends are compound. And you can easily get $100,000 in 20 years. You can get $100,000 a year in 20 years. It's all in the math. Just like in my last video I did, where I was talking about the power of compounding. Okay? And so, me personally, I buy and hold. Okay? You just buy it and keep it forever. I don't ever want to sell it. I don't care what the stock price is. Stock price don't matter. I don't care what the stock price is. I do not care. I want to know if the company got debt. Does the company have any debt? Okay? I never heard of a company going out of business with no debt. I never heard of that. 10 times out of 10, the reason why a company goes out of business is because they got what? Debt. Okay? I never seen a company go out of business with 10 times their earnings in cash sitting on their balance sheet. I never seen it. If they sitting up there with $5 billion in cash and they got $500 million in debt, they ain't going out of business. They good. They good. And so you want debt to equity to be like 0.3. If you look at Microsoft's balance sheet, Microsoft is a great example. You look at Microsoft balance sheet, I think their debt to equity is like 0.3. So basically, they're keeping 70% of whatever they make. That's the same thing as you having a job. You make $100,000 a year, but your bills are only $20,000 or $30,000. Your bills are only $30,000 a year. You make $100,000. That means you get to keep $70,000. You know what the slogan is? It ain't about what you make, it's about what you keep. That's what it's about. So it's about what you keep. It's about what you keep, not what you make. So buy and hold. You buy assets and keep them. You buy assets and keep them. Okay? You never sell them. It ain't about what you make. It's about what you keep. Okay? I didn't get that when an old man told me. I think I bumped into him. This old guy, old truck driver I bumped into. He told me, man, he had an old raggedy truck. He had an old raggedy truck. Truck and trailer paid for. And I think we was at a truck stop somewhere. We was in a driver lounge somewhere. And he was like, and I was talking to him about how much money I'm making. He talking about how much money he making. And he was just like, man, it ain't about what you make. It's about what you keep. I didn't understand it at that point. I was like, okay, I just nodded my head and walked away. But when I started learning more about business, learning more and more about business, what that old man told me started to stick to my mind now. It ain't about what you make. It's about what you keep. You got to keep your assets. Don't sell them. Don't sell your old raggedy truck. Don't sell your truck and trailer. Don't sell your stocks. Stop selling them. And so my opinion is, man, don't mess with no day trading, man. Don't mess with day trading. You never gonna build assets that's gonna pay you, because Costco is a dividend machine, man. But you never gonna see $100,000 a year in dividends if you keep selling the thing. Don't sell it. Don't ever sell it. You keep it. You gotta keep it for about 10, 15 years to get $150,000 in dividends off of it. The reason why y'all can't believe me that this math works, because you never keep it long enough. Costco ain't going out of business. Costco ain't going nowhere. Costco is a dividend machine. It's a dividend monster. Okay? Visa, MasterCard, Costco, ADP, Texas Instruments, I'm trying to think of a bunch of dividend monster stocks. You just keep them, and they just crunch out revenue. They crunch out dividends. They just crunch. You got to keep these stocks. Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Walmart, McDonald's. These are dividend kings, bro. I'm telling y'all got to keep these companies. Stop flipping them. Cash flow. It's about the cash flow. Okay? And so you keep these stocks forever, man. Warren Buffett himself talks about it. Warren Buffett bought, I don't know, so many millions of shares of Coca-Cola back in the 80s. Coca-Cola pays Warren Buffett, I think, somewhere around $1 billion a year in dividends. About $1 billion a year in dividends. Yeah. He bought a bunch of shares of Coca-Cola back in the 80s. Yeah. And he bought Chevron. He bought a whole bunch of companies. He don't own the companies. He just bought a bunch of shares and kept them. Keep them forever. You keep them forever. That's it. You don't ever sell them. You buy good companies. You buy good, solid companies. You don't buy no startup that's going to go out of business. You buy good, solid companies that's going to be around forever. And you keep them forever. And you just wait for the dividends to start pouring in. And before you know it, boom, you're getting $200,000-$300,000 a year in dividends. You got to keep them. Yep. Yep. Somebody send me a super chat. $5 super chat, man. I appreciate it, man. Let me read the super chat first. He's a paying customer. Gotta pay. Gotta serve him first. What do you think about PRDGX? Most of my 401k is invested in this fund. PRDGX. Hold on, y'all. Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. PRDGX. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm back now. So, PRDGX is T. Rowe Price dividend. Hold on. Is it a fund? Okay, yeah. So PRDGX is some kind of dividend fund. I can't do an analysis right here on these videos, but it seems like a decent fund. I wouldn't be all investing it in a 401k. I would spread it out a little bit, but yeah, I would spread it out a little bit. I love dividend paying funds, so um, um, what's the expense ratio on this thing? Okay, so it looks like that is a T. Rowe Price dividend fund. So um it looks okay. Um it looks okay. It looks okay. Hold on. But yeah, so it seems like it is a T. Rowe Price. It's a T. Rowe Price dividend fund. Um, I don't know too much about T. Rowe Price's funds, but it seems like a decent fund. I would spread it out a little bit. I have a few. Um, I have a few dividend funds myself. I don't have all my money in it, so uh, I would spread it out. I would spread it out to at least 50% of your portfolio. So it's in a 401k, so I would split half this into something else. I would put half my 401k in that, and then I would put the other half in 2, 3 other things. So, I mean, I'm not giving no advice, but I'm just saying I would spread it out a little bit. Um, I wouldn't put all my money in it, but any kind of dividend paying fund, I'm all for it because you get that dividend growth, you get that dividend compounding, and so as long as it's not too expensive. I like to stay under. I like to stay under 0.05 expense ratio. So I like to stay under 0.05%. So I don't know. I don't know too much about it, but it seems like a T. Rowe Price um, dividend fund. Hold on, let me hit these questions real quick. Let me see. Buffett invests in insurance companies solely to be able to use the cash to invest. What do you think about PRDGX? Most of my 401k. Oh, they do profit sharing. Okay. Yeah, most companies do. Most private sector companies do profit sharing. So, whenever the company does well in a given year, they'll pay it out to the employees, bonuses or whatever the case may be. When I was at JB Hunt, I remember getting $1,500 to $2,000 bonus at the end of the year, so it's not too bad. Overcapitalized. That's what killed every company in every crash. Enron, WorldCom. Right, right. Too much debt. The Intelligent Investor, the little book of common sense investing. Value instruments are the way to go. Buy good companies at cheap prices. Not always cheap prices. I mean, just buy them at a decent price. Because as ordinary working class people like us, we don't have the bargaining ability to go into a company and negotiate a price on stuff. We got to pay whatever the price is. So if you log on to your Robinhood account or Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and if the stock price is $200 a share, either you're going to buy it or not. So you're not Warren Buffett. You can't go call up a company direct and say, hey, do y'all need some cash? And negotiate a per share price on the phone or directly and sit down with the CEO and the board of directors. Y'all don't have that kind of money. Like Warren Buffett, he goes and sits down with the board of directors of these companies and negotiate a share price right there on the spot. And we don't have that. But so whatever the price is, you got to buy it. If you want to get into the game, you get into the game. If you don't want to get in the game, sit on the sidelines and let us build wealth. Because what we're talking about is not about being the stock price being cheap and all this. I buy stocks overpriced, underpriced, in the middle. It don't matter. I want to buy the asset. I want to buy a piece of this business so I can get a dividend off of it. I don't care what the stock price is. If you buying a good company at a good price, it's always going to be good. That's just my opinion on it. You buy Costco. Costco is one of the best retailing companies out here. The best retail company out here. So, Costco right now is about $800 a share. Most people be like, man, I ain't paying $800 a share. You don't know what you're talking about. That's the problem. You don't know what you're talking about. And so the stock price has nothing to do with earnings. It has nothing to do with earnings. I want the dividend. I want that compounding. I like the reason why you buy Costco, because their speed of turning over money. You want that growth rate. They turn over money fast. They're a very efficient business. They got low debt. They have little to no debt. I think their debt to equity ratio is like 0.3, 0.4. That's pretty good for a big, company like that. They put their stores in strategic places, and it's nothing for them to increase their revenues real quickly. You got a bunch of businesses out here that's got a lot of overhead, and it take them a long time to turn over money. And so like Costco, they're very efficient. They turn their money over quick compared to other type of retailers. That's what you want. You want that growth rate. You want the money to come in. You want capital. You want capital to come in and go back out quickly. And so if it take 70 days to see profit, where then another company, it takes them like 28 days, 30 days to see profit. That's efficient business right there compared to other businesses that got a lot of got a lot of stuff going on in their business, a lot of bureaucracy that's slowing down the business. You can't get to the money. I'm trying to get to the money. It take too long. And so if you keep that mindset, just like a trucking business, how long it take you to get your money? You don't. It's like you talk about a factoring company. A lot of guys are against factoring companies, but using a factoring company allows you to get to your money quicker. And so you use that same concept in this situation. And so you want that growth rate and you want time. If you just take your time, slow down, let the company do its thing, let the money compound, cash flow, let that cash flow compound, let them dividends go back into business, buy more shares, and compound and crunch and crunch. It's just a machine. And so that's how you want to look at this thing. That's the important thing when we're talking about cash flow. So talking about cash flow. Okay. Yeah, I think I got all the questions. But that's the gist. I wanted to punch y'all in the face with some common sense understanding about cash flow. You know, um, you know, I try to make these videos to help guys understand um, investing. Buy and hold your stocks. You buy them and keep them. You know, I know y'all want to see your money fast. I know you wanna day trade. You wanna buy 1,000 shares. You wanna buy 10,000 shares, and then you want to sit at the computer and wait for the stock price to go up so you can clear $1,000 on the 10,000. You want to clear 2,000, 3,000 on the 10,000. You want a day trade, but that's a job, man. That's a job. You never gonna build wealth that way. Okay. Some of the best all-time investors will tell you to your face, you're not gonna build wealth that way. You know how you build wealth? Is you buy good companies and you keep them, and you wait for the dividend to pay you. You're not gonna get the dividends today. You're not gonna get them next year, but you're gonna sure get them in 5, and you're gonna get them in 10. And in 10 years, you'll be very surprised how much money you getting every month without working, without doing nothing. All because you bought some Costco. All because you bought some ADP. All because you bought some Visa. All because you bought Lowe's. All because you bought Home Depot. Yep. You got to keep them, man. You got to keep them, and you just keep buying more shares. Just keep buying more shares. That's it. It ain't that complicated. And you just sit there and wait. You wait 20 years, man, you're going to be sitting up there getting $100,000 and $150,000 a year on dividends. You be like, man, I bought this stock 20 years ago. How this one stock paying me $150,000 a year? I just did the math. Go back to my other video. I just did the math and showed y'all. And so you got Herbert Scott here. He talks about reading Intelligent Investor, the little book of common sense investing. And those two books, yeah, they have some good information. The Intelligent Investor, it's a thick book, man. It's a lot. It's just a lot of stuff. I say a better read that's easier to understand is the little common sense of. I never read the little book of common sense. No. I did read the little book of common sense investing. Both of them books, there it's a lot to them. I think a better read for the average Joe would probably be Peter Lynch's. Peter Lynch got a book called The Ultimate Guide to stock investing. He talks about dividend growth. He talks about dividend holding stocks, buying stocks forever. He talks about, but he talks about it in a plain language way where the average person can understand. And so, the intelligent investor, I don't want to say it go over your head, but the intelligent investor to me is more for an advanced person. You might want to read Peter Lynch's books first, then go back and read The Intelligent Investor, because that way you're gonna have to read some of these books. You're gonna have to read them 2 or 3 times, because a lot of the stuff is gonna go over your head. It's gonna go over your head. It's like all the language and the information. It's just information over your overload. You're not gonna understand the context and what he's talking about. You have to read it a couple times. And with Peter Lynch's books, those are a little simpler, cleaner, common language he uses. His chapters are real short. So I would recommend starting with Peter Lynch first. His chapters are really short, like 2 pages. His chapters are real short. He gets to the point quick. And he just tells you exactly. And then once you get familiar with it, and then you buy your couple stocks, 2 or 3 stocks, you analyze a couple stocks, you take with the information he said, you go and start apply it. Start looking at stocks, and you start to understand what you're doing. Then I would say go and read Intelligent Investor. So that way now you can understand what the book is saying. So some of that stuff don't go over your head. But you're still gonna have to read about 2 or 3 times. I got the audio book version of both of these. The little book of Common Sense Investing and the Intelligent Investor. I got the audio book for both of those. And if you're a truck driver, you have a lot of time to drive down the road and stuff. These are good listens when you got 8, 9, 10 hours to listen to an audio book going down the road. So you're not going to get it on the first time. You're going to have to listen to it. If you get the audio book version, you're going to have to listen to it about 3, 4 times. I recommend getting the audiobook version and the paperback version, so that way you can go through and really study it and highlight the pages, sticky note the pages, write notes in it and stuff like that. That's what I recommend doing if you want to do this for real. And if you don't care about investing and building wealth, well, don't do it then. If you don't want to do that. But me personally, I don't like working. I don't want to be poor. So therefore, I'm going to invest the time. I'm going to invest the time that I need to build wealth. That's it. And I'm going to do the things that wealthy people do. I'm going to do the things that rich people do. The things that rich people do, they invest. They invest in stocks. Good, solid, strong, dividend-paying companies. They just keep buying more shares. Keep buying more shares. Keep buying more shares. And they keep them. And they keep them. Keep buying more shares. And keep them. Just keep buying more shares and keep them. Never sell them. If you buy a good company, you can keep it for a lifetime. That's all I'm saying. You buy a good company, you can keep it for a lifetime. Look how long Walmart been in business. Dunkin' Donuts. Look how long Dunkin' Donuts been in business. Come on now. And so that's kind of what I'm saying here. So Dunkin' Donuts, you got Johnson & Johnson, Kimberly-Clark, Chevron, ExxonMobil, I'm trying to think, ADP, Visa, Costco, I'm just trying to think. But these are long-standing companies that pay a very good dividend, and they They grow revenue. They have a strong growth rate. These companies got 10-15% growth rate. Microsoft, they at the top of the game. And so you talking about Microsoft, they have a monopoly on business. You know, like every business out here runs on Microsoft. Every computer comes with Microsoft software on it. They have like a monopoly. Microsoft ain't going nowhere. They pay a good dividend. It's a good performing company, man. Very good performing company. So, long-standing company. They're not going anywhere. They have little to no debt. Microsoft, like I said before, they have little to no debt on their balance sheet, man. It's like 0.2, 0.3% of debt on their balance sheet, man. That's like if you had a job and like you make $100,000 a year, your house paid for, car paid for, everything paid for, and the only debt well, not your house ain't paid for. Everything paid for about your house. You make $100,000 a year and your house payment is $1,000 a month. That's the equivalent of what that is. And so that's a very stable place. And you work at a place where you're getting raises, you're getting bonuses, you're getting raises and bonuses, you're getting promoted, you're growing your income, your growth rate. You know what I mean? I don't know what it would be, but that's the equivalent of what's going on. That's where you want to be. You want to be on that side of the equation. And so when you look at a business, when a business is doing that, then you know that you're buying a good company. You're buying a good company. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be nervous about buying a company. You don't have to, if the stock market drops, if the stock market goes down and you see your company, you look at the stock price. The stock price goes from $250, it goes from $250 down to $150. You shaking and nervous. Oh, no, man, you look at the balance sheet, you like, man, their debt to equity is 0.2. They're growing their revenue. There's nothing wrong with this company. Why would I sell it? The dividends are paying. No, don't sell the company, fool. You should be buying more shares. It's on sale. Buy more shares. You trying to increase your cash flow. What your cash flow is the dividends. You want to increase them dividends, man. It's about getting them dividends. That's what you want. That's what you want. Okay? That's what you want. Don't sell your stocks, man. Don't sell them. Let's see. Truck will be paid off in June. Good, man. Yeah, pay the truck off, man. Keep your cash flow going in. Keep your cash flow coming in, man. You need that. 2021 Cascader. Oh, you got an old Creek truck with 500K on it. Okay, that's good, man. It's good. You got you a money-making machine. You know, you take that money out that truck, man, and buy you some stocks. Buy you some good dividend-paying stock. In 10 years, you can retire. You think I'm playing? Crunch the numbers. Get them books I just told you about. Where you think I got the information from? I didn't know nothing about this stuff until I started reading. My mouth started dropping. I was like, all this time, I was so mad at myself. I was so mad at myself. All this doggone time. I could have been just buying stocks. That's all these folks in the FIRE movement retiring early. That's what they're doing because they found out about dividend paying stocks. All you need is 10, 15 years. You get you 10, 15 years and just load up on some dividend paying stocks. Load you up by 10, 15 dividend paying stocks and just buy them. Just keep buying them. Keep buying them. In 10, 15 years, you'll be able to retire because them stocks will be paying you so much of a good dividend every month or every quarter, you can retire They'll pay you an annual salary. Them damn stocks will start paying you $70,000, $80,000 a year. You ain't got to work no more. You just keep them stocks, and they just pay you. They pay you like a pension. That's what a dividend does. They pay you like a pension. But you ain't gonna never do it. So you're gonna continue to work for the man, and you're gonna never be able to retire like like the white boys, like the boys up there on like the suit and tie guys up there in the stock market. That's what they're doing. The guys up there on the stock market, man, these guys are retiring in 5 to 10 years. They're not working no more. All they need is 5 to 10 years. They buy a bunch of dividend paying stocks. They keep the stocks forever. And then they retire. Them stocks stop paying them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Yeah. You just gotta buy them. Buy Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Keep buying them. ADP, Visa, MasterCard. Visa and MasterCard is the best stock on planet Earth. Y'all not gonna believe me. You're not gonna believe me because you haven't crunched the numbers. You gotta crunch the numbers. You gotta read about buying, hold, investing. You gotta read this stuff. You gotta read. But you're not gonna learn. You think you're gonna watch my videos, you be like, man, 404, he crazy. He don't know what he talking about. It's like I've been telling y'all. I want y'all to be successful. I want y'all to get at that truck. Use the truck for what it is. You get the truck, you make all your money you can in the truck, you buy a bunch of stocks with it. You buy real estate, stocks. You just keep loading up. Real estate and stocks. Just keep buying the stuff. Okay? 10, 15 years, you retire. You walk away from that truck. You can just let the truck run off in the ditch. You wouldn't give a damn. You got so much cash flow hitting your checking account every month from dividends, from all these good, solid, long-standing blue chip companies just paying you every month. Just paying you. You'll feel bad that you making this much doggone money. You feel so bad. It's like, man, why nobody ain't tell me about this game? I know. They don't want us to learn this game. They want us to get these jobs and be a slave. So I don't want to get into that, but I'm just trying to hammer it into y'all head. Buy some dividend, buy and hold some blue chips, buy some blue chip companies and keep them. Just keep them. That's it. That's it. Let's see. Little dude from 63rd. Y'all got some crazy names, boy. Little dude from 63rd. You funny, man. Little dude from 63rd. What's going on? I got this truck from Lone Mountain. I couldn't keep up with SFI. Yeah, Snyder Finance, they a trip, but, they allowed me, when I ain't know nothing, to get in the trucking and learn how to run a truck. It's all good, man. Everybody got to start somewhere, At least you ain't sit up there for 20 years with that mess. Do it for a year or two. Get your money together and go to a dealer and get your own truck. I mean, you got this truck from Lone Mountain. Okay, that's good. Now you pay a monthly payment. You go down there and get you a $1,500, $1,600 monthly payment. Now you can cash flow. Now you got cash flow. And so that's the root of this video right here. You just learn the game of cash flow. The importance of cash flow. It ain't about flipping stuff. It's not about flipping stuff. You need to buy stuff. You need to buy assets that's cash flowing, man. It's about cash flow. That's how this country works. Cash flow. Everything is paid by the month, by the quarter. And you need every month, every quarter, consistent cash flowing, hitting your checking account. That's what you need. How do you get it? You buy assets. What are assets? Things that put money in your pocket. What are things that put money in your pocket? Trucks, stocks, rental properties. Women take money out your pocket. Get rid of the women. Women take money out your pocket. But I'm being facetious. I'm being funny. But I'm saying you gotta. This is how you gotta think. Stop day trading. You buying the stock and selling it. Buying the stock and selling it. That ain't how you do this game, man. That ain't how you do this. You never gonna build wealth like that. How about you decide to just keep a few stocks? Every time you day trade one stock, you keep one. How about that? If you do that, before you know it, you look in your account, you be like, man, I got 50,000 shares of Costco. I got 50,000 shares of Visa. I got 50,000 shares of you looking in your account. My hand is the account. Oh man, look, I'm looking in my account. You know, you're on your phone, you kind of flipping through. It's like, man, I got 50,000 shares of Chevron. Chevron pays a 4.5% dividend. I think it's 4 or 5%, somewhere in there, but they pay a good dividend. They're a slow growing company because Chevron is already established. So their growth rate is only going to be about 5-6%. But the fact is they pay a 4.5% dividend, man. $4.5 dividend, man. And I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, man, that ain't no money. Yeah, because you ain't bought no shares. You gotta keep buying shares. Keep buying the shares. Keep buying them. You spend 10, 20 years just buying shares every time you get paid. Before you know it, you're gonna have about 40,000 shares in there. Them 30,000 shares gonna pay you 50,000 a year, 60,000 a year. I mean, you gotta buy it and keep it. Let it compound. Let it do the work for you. You know, don't be that guy working at Walmart as a greeter, doing Uber and all this other junk, man. Buy these stocks and keep them. Good dividend paying stocks. Read these books I was telling y'all to read so you understand what I'm talking about. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but it's the math. I did the math right on my video. Go back to my last video where I did the math. I showed y'all how this works, how compounding works. I know you can't believe it. I know. I couldn't either, but I kept crunching the numbers. Warren Buffett himself validated. Peter Lynch validated. I'm trying to think of all these great long-term investors. I'm trying to think. I can't think of all their names, but it's proof out there. You can Google it. You can find some proof out there. Google it. If you don't believe me, I don't want your money. I'm just trying to help you. I want the guys who watch my videos, truck drivers. I need y'all to retire with some money. And this is how you do it. You get you an S&P 500 and you get you some stocks. This is how you do it. You ain't got to have no special talents. You ain't got to sing. You ain't got to dance. You ain't got to trade Forex. You ain't got to do Bitcoin. You ain't got to do day trading. You ain't got to do nothing crazy. Just keep buying stocks. You find some good companies and just buy them and keep buying them. Keep buying them. That's it. Nothing special. And then about year 10, year 15, year 20, you start to see the money starting to compound. You're like, damn, I'm making $10,000 a year. I ain't even working. And then you keep going. And then a couple years keep passing. You be like, man, I'm making $20,000 a year just by holding these stocks. I ain't even working. And then it keep growing again. Before you know it, 10, 20 years later, 30 years later, you like, man, I'm making $150,000 a year and I ain't even working. Just because I own these stocks in my portfolio, it's paying out $150,000 a year in dividends every year. That's it, man. Simple. I know y'all wanted to be complicated. I did too. I was searching for it to be just this ultra complicated. I gotta know somebody. I gotta know somebody in the stock market. I gotta know Dick and Tom down on Wall Street. Nah, you just gotta buy these stocks. Just buy them and keep them. No. Now, I ain't saying go out there and buy some junk now. I ain't saying go out there and buy some junk company. And I told y'all, you need to look at a company that got cash on the books. The debt to equity needs to be very low, less than half. I wouldn't mess with a company. Where their debt to equity is more than 0.6. I wouldn't mess with no company more than 0.6. I need consistent revenue growth. Like I said in my last video, I need at least 10, 20 years of revenue growth. I need to go back to the 90s and I need to look at their graph going like this, up and to the right. I need to look at it going like that, just like a skateboard ramp. I needed to go like that, up and to the right. I need to see consistent revenue growth. I need to see dividend growth. I don't want to see not one dividend cut. If I'm investing into a business, I don't want to see not one dividend cut. Not one. Maybe during COVID, I'll give them an exception. If they got a dividend cut during COVID, okay, I give them a pass. But all the other years, since 1990 something, I need to see consistent revenue growth. I don't want to see no debt. I want to see very low debt. Okay? What else I want to see? I want to see a good management team. When I Google the company, I want to see good management. When I Google the CEO, I want to see that CEO talking some good sense about the company. Where they trying to go? What's his vision on where he want to take the company? Just common sense stuff. You wouldn't date a crazy girl, and I don't want to buy a company with a crazy CEO either. So it's the same thing. Because if you're going to buy stock and you're going to be tied to this company for the next 30, 40 years, you better make damn sure it's a good company, that you have good values. You relate to the company. You understand the company. You understand how the company make money. You need to be able to explain how Costco make money. You need to explain how Visa make money. If you're going to buy Visa stock, you need to be able to explain somebody. You need to be able to explain how Chevron make money. If you're going to buy some Chevron stock, not just because I told you. You need to look at that stock and make sense of it of yourself. If you don't understand it, don't buy it. You need to understand how Coca-Cola make money. How does $1 go into the company and come out as $20 on the other end? That's cash flow. That's the definition of cash flow right there. Money coming in on one end and coming out on the other end, magnified with money left over. What's the money left over? But anyway, I talked y'all head off for an hour. I hope y'all took heed and listened to what I'm saying, because I'm getting tired every time I talk to truck drivers. I'm bumping into y'all and y'all don't have no wealth because y'all hard-headed. I'm sitting up here telling y'all the game of wealth. I'm telling you what to do. You know? I pray for y'all, man, because it's getting rough out here. Like, I just feel real bad. The guys, they driving trucks 30, 40 years. They get to 60, 65, they ain't got nothing. All they did is run up and down the road. They got a bunch of trucking stories. Damn your trucking stories. buy these stocks and keep them, man. Don't worry about what the stock market doing. It go up and down. That's what it do. Buy the stock and keep it. If you buy a good company and keep it, then you don't have to worry about it. You know? I know it's scary sometimes, but you use some common sense. The company ain't going nowhere. McDonald's ain't going nowhere. McDonald's sell cheeseburgers all over the world. They ain't going nowhere. Come on now. McDonald's is going nowhere. Come on now. You got to read the annual report for these companies. I know some of y'all don't want to do it. Okay, that's fine. But don't get mad when you broke. You got to do what rich people do. If you want to build some wealth, you got to do the things that rich people do. Sitting up there in the clinic down at the Social Security office begging for $1,500 a month, man. I don't want that to be for y'all. I don't want your life demise down to the point where $1,500 a month in Social Security is gonna make or break you. I don't want that for y'all. I want y'all to be getting $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month. How you do that? You buy these doggone stocks and keep them forever. I'm sorry, I ain't want to get on a preaching rant, but you know, I gotta do this for my guys, man. I love y'all, man. Like running up and down the road, beating you gave your life to the trucking industry. You deserve it. Just do what I tell you to do. You know, do what I tell you to do. Read these books, learn the game of money, learn how to magnify money, learn how to grow money, learn how to build wealth. Learn the things that rich people do, man. These are the things that rich people do. They buy assets, they buy stocks. You see them riding around in the Benz, you wondering how they get it. This is how they get it. But you don't want to do what they do and you mad. You can't be mad because you didn't want to do what they did. Do what these folk do. This is what the Wall Street boys, that's what they do. But I think this is the time to end the video. I'm getting a call. So I think I talked enough. But I appreciate y'all watching my videos, man. I'll see y'all next time. Go buy y'all some stock.